Alright, so in this video I am going to do a tutorial on the gospel song called Near My God to Thee. So this piece is in the key of G major. This is an arrangement I made. So the arrangement's really what I'm doing in the left hand. The melody is the same as the standard version. So first things first, I'm going to play it through just so you can hear it, and then we will go through it. I will break down the left hand, I will break down the right hand. So here it is. Oh, and be sure, if you haven't done so already, the free sheet music is in the description, so be sure to download it and follow along. Alright, so that is it. So let's break down the piece. So first thing to make note of, it is in the key of G major. The key of G major has one sharp, which is the F sharp here. Right, so anytime we come across the note F, it's actually going to be played as an F sharp. So let's actually take a look at the left hand first. So the left hand is really just doing a mixture of a G chord, a C chord, and a D chord. Right? So it's really just those three chords, and we're just using them in different inversions. So if you're not familiar with inversions, I'm not going to jump into it in this video, but I do have other videos that explain inversions. But that's really the only chords we're playing is G chord, C chord, D chord. So let's just take a look at the first four measures and get an idea for the theme. So the first four measures go like this. So if we look at the left hand's playing a G chord in the first measure, a C chord in the second measure, a G chord in the third measure. Now you may be saying, how is this the G chord? Well, it's a G chord in its second inversion, right? G chord has the notes G, B, and D. Here in the third measure, we're just playing in a different order of D, G, and B. So we're doing G chord in the first measure, C chord in the second measure, G chord in its second inversion, and then in the fourth measure, we go to our D chord just like that. Nice thing with using the G chord in its inversion is that we're very close to the D chord there. So that's what's going on in the left hand in the first four measures. In the right hand, right, we're doing so we're playing this melody that spans around 6 notes from D, E, G, A, B, right? And since we're not actually playing the note F or F sharp in this case, at any moment we can kind of have our hands set up like this, right? With our first finger on D, second finger on E, third on G, fourth on A, fifth on B. And we'll be able to play these first four measures just like this. And then as the melody continues, we go into measure 5, kind of does the same thing it did in the first measure. Right, so we can notice measures 5 and 6 are actually identical to 1 and 2 in both the left hand and the right hand. Then when we get to measure 7, right, this measure has a little more going on, right, where the melody is going to go D, G, F sharp, A, right? So we will need to bring that second finger up to F sharp to get that in measure 7. In the left hand, once again, we're doing our G chord in that inversion, but only for half the measure. In the second half of the measure, we're going to be doing a D7 chord. So we will play this. It's really a D major chord with a C on top. So it is a 4-note chord. So we will need to use our pinky or our fifth finger on D, and we'll need to use our middle finger, third finger on F sharp, second finger on A, thumb on C. Now, if you've never done a 4-note chord, it may be a little difficult to reach, but with practice you should be able to get it. But if for some reason you can't, feel free to leave out the note A and just play D, F sharp, and C, like that. So measure 7 will go, and then measure 8, we come back to that G chord. So let's look at those first 8 measures all together. So that is the opening of the theme. Now measures 9 and 10, 11 and 12 are going to be a little different, right? So we're going to start on that G chord, but now our right hand is actually going to come up here because we're going to need to play the notes D and E, right? So E is going to be the highest note we need to get to, so we can keep our pinky up there, and I'll use my fourth finger on D here, so. So measures 9 and 10, right? We're doing G chord, and we're switching to a C chord here, right? But it's in an inversion, right? So a C chord is the notes C, E, and G. We're just playing it inverted, so it's G, C, and E. So we're going from a G chord to a C chord and back to our G chord like this. So measure 9, and then measure 10. So simple enough there. Measures 11 and 12 are very similar. The only difference is when you get halfway through measure 12, we're going to need to switch to that D chord on A. So the best hand position for measures 9, 10, 11, 12 will be to have your first finger on A, second on B, third on C, fourth on D, fifth on E. So we can do. And then finally, right, the original theme is going to repeat. So measure the theme for measures 5, 6, 7, 8 are going to come back here for measures 13, 14, 15, 16. So we will need to shift our hand back. So when we play the note B here, right, on measure 13, right, we'll use our third finger there. And then when we do A, G, on the second time we play the note G, which is measure 14, I'm going to use my second finger there. So the right hand for measures 13 and 14 will look like this. That will allow me to then get my thumb down to E. And same idea, on the second time I play the E with the half note, I'm going to use my second finger. So let me show you measures 13, 14, 15, 16, just the right hand. Because using the second finger there will now allow me to get down to D to do like that. And now if we look at the left hand, the only part that's going to look a little different is measure 13, right? We're doing our G chord to start, but then we're going to come up here. So this chord here, it's going to look confusing. It's the notes A, C, D, and F sharp. Once again, if you can't do all four notes, feel free to leave out the D here and just play A, C, and F sharp. And I'm going to use, once again, fifth finger, third, second, first. And that is just our D7 chord, which we played earlier, once again, just inverted. So it's played in a different order. So measure 13 will look like this. And then when we get to measure 14, we'll come there to E, G, and C. Once again, this is just your C chord, C, E, and G, just inverted, played in a different order, E, G, and C. And then we're back, measure 15 is the exact same as measure 7. And that's the whole piece. So let me play it through one more time for you, the whole thing. And if you notice there at the end, I slowed down a little bit. It's a nice effect when you're playing any song. When you come to the end, slow it down just a little bit, just like that. Alright, so that is all for this tutorial on Nearer My God to Thee. If you have any other requests or tutorials for me, please let me know by commenting below or emailing me at digitalpianoschool@gmail.com, and I'm also happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon.